Hello and welcome to another Outlook cover story discussion. We have with us Chinki Sinha, Outlook editor. We are looking at, like we said, the Me Too movement, and Chinki herself has written the introduction of sorts to, why we are doing it at this time and why is it important to look at these issues all over again.
So basically, the question that this trial has thrown up is whether it will have an adverse effect on the Me Too movement, which started in 2017, actually, when this actress had tweeted Tarana Burke's, Me Too, without knowing actually that this was a movement that was started by, Tarana a few years ago. And that's when it gained momentum. If you look at the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, which kind of like became one of these social media courtroom porn also, which Monica Lewinsky has come out and said it in her column, and which is actually very true, is that how it brought the most toxic side of us, and also the whole patriarchal thing, which actually is we are all enablers in one way or the other. And I tried to escape this trial, and then I watched it, and I completely felt very disgusted. And it brought back like a series of these conversations with people that I've had over the years. And one of them, I wanted to write it in the piece that I wrote, but we didn't have that kind of space. But it was with this one artist actually, and she works on climate change and everything. And we were discussing something, and and she said, I'm feminine and I'm not feminist. And I'm like, why are you not a feminist? And she's like, I'm not that kind of a person. Suddenly this whole word, the feminist word itself has become something of like a strange thing, where people think that we are fighters, or we are kind of like these people who are always ready to pick up fight on issues. But that's not true. I didn't have much to say that time. I sent her this song by Beyonce, which this friend had played for me once, and it had this script by Chinmanda Adichie, and she says that feminists are people who believe in social, political, and economic equality of the sexes, and there's nothing wrong in it. Firstly, and we live in deeply patriarchal societies.
Yes, in fact, we have this superb piece by Chinmayi Sripada, who talks about what she had to go through. When she named a person, how she started to stop getting offers, her job, she had found no work, she was sort of ostracized in many ways. It's there's a really powerful column by her, as also very many others. Of course, the other issue that we have dealt with in stories and reports and pieces is just domestic violence in India. I mean, it's like, how much of it is there, how much of it really gets reported. How few women really, they have to have such courage to even, come and report it.
Which also falls under the umbrella category of Me Too.
Yes.
And when the Me Too hashtag first appeared, we also had Her Too and Time's Up, which also looked at women at workplace. And we have a piece by Haima on that, actually. And the Vishaka committees that were set up and kind of were never operational. And I can tell you countless incidents, because I have been in the media world and things have happened. Nothing happened to anybody. And, you had this Believe All Women. I mean, that's how the Me Too movement started, actually. And domestic abuse, marital rape, everything comes under Me Too. So we don't have to differentiate between that, because male entitlement anyways makes a man very, very powerful. And this Johnny Depp becoming a symbol of male victimhood is really not the question here. The question here is how Amber Heard said that she represented domestic abuse. I mean, and a public figure to have to represent it. And I'm very happy that she did not call herself a victim of domestic abuse, because I mean, that's what we want. We want people to be victims. I mean, why should women be victims? Why can't they speak up? And that's where the issue, the idea of the issue came about, because I thought it was a very topical issue in terms of like 5 years of Me Too, and we don't see as much Me Too happening now. And I mean, I was there. I was in Kochi when this very big artist actually was accused of Me Too, and by anonymous. And if you look at the Time magazine cover in 2017, they had an anonymous black color hand, which also looked at the inclusion of anonymous testimonies. I mean, not all of us have the courage or the wherewithal or the money to fight legal lawsuits.
And apart from this, of course, in this issue, we also have started this very exciting segment called Political Overlap, which will look at, politics in various ways, news stories maybe. But again, I mean, not just the news part of it, but I mean, soon, of course, we'll also be entering, again, in India, there's an election round the corner all the time. So, soon we'll be, they'll be there. So we'll have some more, a lot of political, so, I mean, like this overlapping stories there. That's a new section that we've started. And Substrata, as always, has very interesting, stories.
We start with actually a poem, which is a tribute to the Nirbhaya gang rape case from in a post-Nirbhaya world where this girl, and actually the last line I remember is, "Thank God you were spared the iron rod." And I thought that was a very powerful statement, because we are still under this heavy weight. And why is it that we have to bear the burden of shame or the burden of pain? And that's what it is. And I thought that this is a good time to speak about it.
Yes, and that that Sex in the City, the other feature that we have in the Substrata segment.
And another thing I wanted to talk about was this cover image, which actually is a very, very powerful image by this Bangladeshi artist of the Brito Trust. And I decided to kind of, I mean, when we were talking about this issue, I kept going back to her artworks. Somehow I remembered that. And the fact that she runs a collective. I mean, she's political. She's she works with feminism. She works with these everyday material objects. Like the blade is actually the memory of all these childbirths that used to happen when she was a kid, and how that blade was used to cut the umbilical cord when a child was born, and that kind of is associated with her memory. And I thought that maybe, because we are talking about collective action here, we are talking about social feminism, Marxist feminism, we need to actually have on the cover somebody who actually believes in these women collective. There's a stunning image of a performance from her art performance where she's wearing this veil made of razor blades. And when we took that image, I mean, instantly, it's a very dark scenario right now, I mean, about the movement. And we've decided to go along with Maya Angelou's poem, Still I Rise. And we took that on the cover with the eye really long, because it's not about just the individual, it's also about working together to dismantle the structures. I mean, as somebody said, we don't have to have seat at the table, we have to break the table and restructure a new order. And that's what it is about. And I think we decided to go with the title of the poem on the cover, because that poem gives us hope. And at no point are we going to abandon hope, because we're not really going to be, this is the real world.
So so as always, there is so much to read. So please do log into www.outlookindia.com, and the issues should be in the stands soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.